Hear you. Hi, Tracy and Karen. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi.
How you feeling?
I feel good. My
That's
surgery
good.
my surgery was delayed until April 19th. So today was supposed to be the day. And well,
Well, good luck.
I'd rather have a surgeon that's there than a surgeon that's not there. He had a conflict today.
Well, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
That's a good reason.
Well, I was thinking you were looking remarkably well for having had surgery. So, yeah.
Check back with me the evening of the 19th. You'll see something.
Okay.
I'm acting
Hi,
as Brett today,
Flossie.
letting everybody in.
I think I should turn my computer.
Michelle,
How are you, Al?
Hi, Michelle.
Rainey,
Hi.
And
Susan.
Karen and Tracy.
Hi, Susan.
Hello, everybody. See if I can get my picture better.
They're all set. We're all set. Okay. We got our second booster shots today.
Oh, wow. Where'd you get them?
CVS.
Okay.
Went online, made the appointment, and got our second shots today. I set it up yesterday or the day before.
All three of my shots have been through the clinic and they haven't sent anything out and I just was waiting.
Clinic has
Jim
not,
beats him to it.
clinic is not
Jim
recommend-
beats CVS.
What?
the clinic is not recommending the shot yet.
Oh, yeah?
I asked about getting one since I have some surgery in 2 weeks, and they said
Right.
the infectious disease people have not recommended it yet.
No.
I guess I'm going to wind up at CVS if I want to get a shot.
Hey, yeah. I figured if the president could get his second shot, I can
Right.
get mine.
I agree with you.
So,
I didn't even feel it. I mean, I was thinking, did she really give me the shot? I knew
yeah, she was
did.
too busy kibitzing with the pharmacist.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
We are, look at that. So you will notice that Rabbi Van is not here today because I'm a little taller than she is, I think so. But no, she is on spring break. And so she will be back, but she's on spring break. And so we are going to enjoy the service with just me tonight. So what we are, and we'll talk a little more about that later, but first, let's get in the mood for Shabbat. I was never much of a meditator, still I'm not yet much of a meditator, but I will tell you that this slow, mindful breath that we've been doing, the breathing we've been doing on Shabbat, puts me in such a wonderful place, and I hope that you feel the same way. So let's do it together. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to breathe in, and then we're going to breathe out. This time, when we breathe in, when we breathe out again, we are going to try to breathe out all the stress and the tsuris and the stuff that you carried with you all this week. Let's let it all go. Here we go. Breathe in. Let that all go. Let your shoulders relax down. Loosen up your neck a little bit. On this last breath, we're going to reverse it, and we are going to bring in that sweet Shabbat spice that we get to have for this next 24 hours. So please, here we go. Breathe it in and enjoy it. Here we go. Yes. So Shabbat Shalom, and here we are together. With Rabbi Van not here tonight, instead of a sermon, I'm going to do what I do best, which is play with a little music. We are going to spend a little bit of time learning some music that you don't know yet, because I thought it would be fun to explore some of this music. And some of it's not new, and some of it is. So we're going to teach 2 songs tonight. The first one is our opening song, which is Shalom Aleichem, which actually, Jacob, what's the page number for this one? It's on the slide, if you could tell me. You can say it out loud. 24? 24. Thank you. My tech guy says it's on page 24. And this setting is by Beth Stiles. We haven't done any of Beth Stiles' music yet with me, although when Rob Ross has come in to substitute for me, she has a piece called Shabbat Shalom that he has used. And so I've been sort of exploring her catalog, and I came up with the Shalom Aleichem, and I just loved it, and I wanted to share it with you. So I'm going to use the guitar a little bit just to teach it to you, so that you can sing along, and then we're going to sing it all together, okay? So the words to this, if you have not done a Shalom Aleichem before, are actually relatively simple. It's the first sentence is different, but then there's 4 verses, and then the rest of the verse, it's the same from verse to verse to verse, okay? So Shalom Aleichem Malachei HaSharet is celebrating the angels that are coming to bring Shabbat. There is a midrash that when you enter Shabbat, you enter with angels on your shoulder. And so in this first verse, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, we are saying peace to you, the angels that are coming to bring us in. And then we're going to go with angels. You can see the translation in there and on your slide as you go through if you're interested. But it's a wonderful start to Shabbat. So the words are Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, now you. Shalom Aleichem Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, thank you, Malachei Hamlachim, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Now the other verses, the only thing different is Boachem LeShalom, now you, Boachem LeShalom, and then it's Barchuni LeShalom, Barchuni LeShalom, and Tzeitchem LeShalom, Tzeitchem LeShalom. So here's how this one goes. I think it's so pretty. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet. Now you, here we go. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet. And then it goes on, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Let's try the second part. Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Now try the whole line. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. And then it continues and it just ends a little differently. So let's do the next line. Here we go. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Now let's try that all together. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Keep going. Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Isn't that beautiful? It just brings me into Shabbat on this beautiful wave. Okay, now the next part goes, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. Try that. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Okay, it's not hard, right? There's a little bridge in the middle, which you'll hear as we go, and then we do the next two verses. Okay, let's give it a try with the music, because that's a lot prettier than me on a guitar. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Very good. Boachem. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Peace be upon you, angels divine. Shabbat Shalom evermore. Here we go, Barchuni. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Malach Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Tzedchem. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Hakadosh We turn to page 3 for the reading before the candles. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. The blessing for the candle lighting is on page 2. Oh. See, they let me do this, but they don't teach me. There we go. Didn't go back down. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God stopped on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on that day God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Kiddush is on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. I'm going to share a reading now. This is by one of our favorite poet liturgists, Alden Solovey, and it's not in your book. This day of rest, this day of wonder and awe, of holiness and light, is a chorus of the heart, a sacred rhythm of meditations, to invite holiness and welcome light, to remember God's gifts and welcome the Sabbath Queen, to sanctify the home, to honor each other, to bless our children and to remember creation, to pray and sing in joy and thanksgiving, and to remember the glory of Jerusalem, to hear the words of Torah and study with open hearts, to share our bounty with others and rest under a canopy of peace, to yearn for the world to come and to know the difference between holiness and mundane. Please turn to page 28 and rise in body or in spirit for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMvorach Leolam Vaed. We read together on page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. The Shema is on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. We'll continue with the Via Hafta. You can be seated. Sorry, I didn't say it loudly enough. Me'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, vedibatabam, beshivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochbecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beineinecha, Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem lelohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. We turn now to page 39, and we are going to join together in responsive reading of this reading that introduces the Micha Mocha. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God together, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again, we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. We can just sing it, right? We know it. Oh, he's got it. All right. There we go.
Yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. La 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 la.
You know, one of the reasons I choose that melody, probably most of the time, it always feels to me, for me, the music has to reflect the purpose and the message of the prayer. And so I always try to find a setting that makes sense with the prayer. And this one always feels like a dance at the end to me. And I can just imagine the feeling of arriving on the other side, you know, the other side of the shores, and realizing that you've been redeemed, right? You've been saved. You're safe on the other side, at least for now. You don't know you have 40 years in front of you. You're pretty excited, right? So that yailai at the end, and even the speed of it and the joy of it, really, to me, shares the message of the Mi Chamocha in such a lovely way. So we are going to continue now with the Hashkivenu, which is on page 42. Our usual version is the one we're going to do tonight. It's recorded by a group, written and recorded by a group called Matovu, which means how good it is. I don't know if you know that. And just a side story about this particular musical group. I went to college with one of the guys, and he and I sang together, and I was in his band for one gig. And it was a lot of fun. And at the time, he had said that, you know, he thought he might want to be a rabbi, but he was going to go write music in LA first and do some recording. And when he finished that, he ended up going to rabbinical school, and he's now the senior rabbi at Leo Beck Temple in LA. It's Ken Chasen, Rabbi Ken Chasen. So shout out to Ken if you're out there. But I have such wonderful memories, and I'm so glad that he did circle around after writing music for commercials and some soap operas and other things that he did while he was in LA before he went to rabbinic school. I was so glad that he then came back and wrote a lot of wonderful Jewish and liturgical music that we can share today. And this is one of the pieces that his group does. So let us share this lullaby together. It's on page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Amen. Amen.
That brings us to the Vishamru, which is also one of my favorites because it reminds us to rest. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I find myself so caught up in the craziness that is the week and everything I think I have to do that the world can't get by without me. And the Vishamru always reminds us that now is the time to take that break, to take those breaths seriously at the beginning and maybe repeat them a few times throughout the course of the day and the week to help us get centered. So I am going to share with you, you've heard this one. We did it at Kol Nashim Shabbat. This is an old one, but a new one. It was new to me. It was written by Debbie Friedman. She has written several, at least two, Vishamrus that I'm aware of. And this one, to me, I was actually really surprised that it was Debbie Friedman. I usually think of her stuff as sort of campy, fun, and campfirey, right? Not all of it is. She has some beautiful, soulful pieces, and this is one of them. And so we are actually, now forgive me for this, I'm going to teach it in a different key because I didn't bring my capo tonight. I don't know, but actually, you know what I'll do? Go ahead and play the first chord, and I'll teach it to you a cappella, so we're in the same key, because I think it will be easier. So go ahead and just play the beginning of the introduction for me, Jacob, and we'll learn from that. I forgot I wasn't going to use it after all. Vishamru is on page 44. Thank you. You can turn it off now. All right. So you know the words, because we do this every week. So this is how it goes. Meshameru v'nei Yisrael, try that. Meshameru v'nei Yisrael. Listen. Et ha-Shabbat, now you. Et ha-Shabbat, me. Et ha-Shabbat. Don't you love that sweet spot? Et ha-Shabbat. Now try that whole line. Veshameru v'nei Yisrael. Et ha-Shabbat. Et ha-Shabbat. Now the next line is almost the same, but it resolves at the end. In music, that means it ends up, instead of ending like in the middle of the line, it ends like it's at the end of a line and goes to the tonic. So we're going to start the next line. It's la, sot, okay? So it's going to start the same and end differently. You'll get it. Follow me. La sot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Okay, now let's try the middle part. It goes like this. Meini uvein b'nei Yisrael. Now
Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael. Second line goes, Oti leolam. So try those two together. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael. Oti leolam. Very good. And here's how this verse ends. Meini uvein b'nei Yisrael. Oti leolam. Okay, so let's try that. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael. Oti leolam. So pretty. And then it continues with Ki sheshet yamim, just like the beginning. Okay, you ready to try it? Say yes. Let's do it. Take that feeling into Shabbat with you and be refreshed. We're going to turn now to the tefillah, which, as you remember, is the central prayer of our service. It's also known as the Amidah because the root omed means to stand. And we stand for this prayer, so please rise in body or in spirit. We are going to start on page 46. And this continues through till it winds up on page 52. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech meimit umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol, Baruch ata Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukedoshim b'chol yom yehallelucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We turn now to page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. We are going to turn now to a prayer of thanksgiving. It's on page 59. I noticed when I was peeking in on last week's service, since I was in Iceland, I did peek in on it, however, and I like Rabbi Van shared that the congregation lately has been feeling really just, the news is hard to listen to, right? And we do have to hear it sometimes, but it's important to remember that in among all of the craziness that is that world is this island that is Shabbat in the middle. And we have peace in our lives. There is peace in our lives in places, and sometimes we have to look for it. But she shared a prayer of peace, and I wanted to do peace and thanksgiving, and to be grateful for the things that we do have that are going right, and to remember gratitude every day. So on page 59, we are going to offer this prayer together. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. And as we move into Shalom Rav, our song and prayer of peace, if you have any feelings of gratefulness or that you want to share with others, I encourage you, if you are on the Zoom, to share it with the others who are in the Zoom with you. And if you are here, to hold it in your heart and share that gratitude with the person next to you if you choose, as we continue with Shalom Rav on page 60. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha lechol hashalom, shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam, shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam, v'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. Shalom רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
I know that Ukraine is weighing heavily on our hearts. And I wanted to share a poem written by Rick Lupert. He is a poet and liturgist who I had the pleasure and great honor of getting to know at Havana Shira, which is the annual Song Leaders Conference that is held every year at Osrui in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Now, you can't go to this thing unless you can say Oconomowoc. That's what they say anyway. So in any case, Rick was there. He was very popular at the open mic nights. He is a little bit of a stand-up comedian with his poetry frequently, but I've also found that many of his poems are pretty deep and meaningful and get you right in the kishkas. You know, it really hits home. And he wrote this one. And I also want to comment, note the song reference in this song. It's called How Many Times. I'm going to let you sit with that for a second. And the other thing is, when I knew Rick and got to know Rick, he had just gotten married to his wife, Maddie. And so reading this helps me to feel how many years have gone under the bridge, as you'll see. How many times? I don't remember a time when war wasn't on the tips of everyone's tongues. Every page of the history books is littered with it. Even our ancient text tells us who to go to war with. In the recent memory of our grandparents, there was the war to end all wars, and soon after that came the next one. They've made movies and TV shows about the intermediary wars. The peace and love of the 60s went hand in hand with Vietnam. And then there's the modern wars that have gone on so long, we forgot they were happening. What a surprise when they ended and people were mad for some reason. This intrusion into Ukraine may be my 13-year-old's first war, or at least the first one he gets to experience from the beginning. I remember when my people left Russia, it seems the Tsar is still at it. He wears a modern suit now. He tells cameras and phones lies about what isn't really his. He sits in an office far from where the cannonballs fly. We pause now for a prayer for healing. And of course, we want to extend that prayer to those in Ukraine and those everywhere in the world who have lost people there and who are running, the people in Ukraine who don't have that Sukkot Shalom, that shelter of peace. We offer our Misha Berach for them, and we also offer them for people who are in our hearts and in our lives right now. So as my hand passes over the congregation, before I say that, you know, if you're watching on Zoom, to please raise those names up with permission, of course, in the chat. And when my hand goes across the sanctuary, please, if you would like to share the name or names of people who are in need of physical, mental, spiritual healing, please share them now. Jane, Michael, and Rick. We continue now with the Misha Berach on page 253.
A blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu, makor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. We pause now for a moment of silent prayer and reflection. Adonai Tzuri Bekoli.
On page 283. It continues through and ends on page 287. Please rise in body or in spirit. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. Va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. We turn now to our time of remembering. Our memorial reading can be found in your book on page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. On this Shabbat, we remember those who have been taken most recently from our temple family. In Shloshim, in the first month since their death, we remember Grace Richards and Marjorie L. Groden. And we mark the anniversaries of death that fall on this Shabbat. Jules Garrell, Jacob I. Glickman, Jenny Unger Goldhammer, Edna G. Goulder, Sylvan Grott, Paul Gusky, Mildred Harris, Myra Hexter, Matilda Hyams, Walter C. Jacobson, Gussie Catcher, Gertrude F. Clan, Myron Luria, Robert J. Lusher, Eve Matz, Marilyn Nachman, George P. Nachman Jr., Nettie Natteras, Odell Nathanson, Judy Nathanson, Ray Newman, Harry R. Portugal, Herman Samuel Resnick, Adelaide Rice, Jacqueline Rose, Dorothy M. Rose, Yetta Roth, Mendel Rubin, Rashka Rubin, Imogene H. Schnapp, David Schulman, Samuel E. Schwartz, Hattie E. Schwartz, Herbert S. Simon, Liba Rashka Stramilovsky, Brenda Stramilovsky Munayevich, Rosalie Wexler, Edward F. Wise. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Please rise in body or in spirit as together we turn to the mourner's Kaddish. Page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirite v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala ubizman kari v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mevarach le'olam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and give comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, amen. Please be seated. I would now like to invite Sandy Busney up to give us some announcements.
I used to wonder when I was a kid why people took their glasses off to read. Guess what? We appreciate certainly everyone who's helped to create and add to the spirit of our service.
Stand right in the middle there so
Oops.
that the camera
Oops.
gets you.
Oh. Okay. We appreciate those who have helped create and add to the spirit of our service. Thank you, Deb, for a beautiful service and doing all the work in double duty. I kind of thought you might be jumping from this side to that side, but. And of course, for Jacob, for the technical support. We're fortunate to have Suburban Temple, Kol Ami dedicated staff, volunteers, and leadership to enhance our Shabbat experience every week. And there's always a lot going on. We will be holding a memorial service for Marjorie Groden this Sunday at 10 o'clock. You're welcome to attend and celebrate the life of one of our founding members. If you choose to attend online, you can find the link on our website. And I was fortunate to have Margie as a neighbor for the 3 years I've lived in Stratton House. And she was just incredible and was blessed, except for maybe the last few weeks, to really have a vibrant life into her 90s. And we started an ice cream club because she really enjoyed ice cream. The next book for our Kol Nashim book club will be Mazel by Rebecca Goldstein. It's described as compelling tales of mothers and daughters. Please join the Zoom group discussion on April 18th at 7 o'clock. You can register with Charlotte for the link. We will hold our adult B'nai Mitzvah on Saturday, April 9th at 10:30. These adults have been preparing and studying for 16 months, and we have at least one member here. And for their important day, please feel free to come and join the celebration. They will also help lead next Friday's service. This year's annual Kol Nashim Women's Seder is Sunday, April 10th at 5 o'clock. RSVP to Charlotte. And again, thank you to Deb and Jacob, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Those of you who are online and are seeing the slide, it says next Friday is the Kol Nashim Seder. That's a typo. It's on the slide. Don't worry about it. That was me not catching the when I was working on the slides. So, thank you, Sandy. Our closing song will be Ein Kelohenu. You can find that on page 322. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Michelohenu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing benediction. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God cause his face to shine upon you and give you peace. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom, ve'yasem lecha shalom. May God cause his face to shine upon you and give you peace in a world of peace. And let us say together, Amen. For those of you who are in the sanctuary, there is challah out there. There is a motzi, and this looks like apple today. So I hope those of you who are at home also have some yummy challah for your blessing. So let's say it together before we sign off. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon and Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, they're full enough since actually you're gonna get to be sprayed. Thank you, Jacob.